Hi, and welcome to Nerdiest Prime. We are reviewing Star Trek Picard, and we're doing Season 3, Episode 5. Very excited to talk about this one. Let's start with our initial thoughts. Alan.
Well, we had another strong episode. I won't say I liked it as much as last week's, but it was still really good. Like I don't have a whole lot of problems with it. And we had a surprising guest return. Well, not so surprising because Crave went and ruined it with a stupid thumbnail. But but anyway, it still didn't ruin my enjoyment of the surprise. And yeah, I am excited to talk about this one.
Namir.
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't like it as much as the other ones, but I did like it more than episode 1 and 2. So it's kind of in there. It's following along the upswing and the clear kind of uptick in quality from episode 3 and 4. So it was good. I really enjoyed it.
Ooh, it was so good. This episode was so good. It just keeps getting better. I am so excited. Rolaren is back. I can think of a better character to bring back. And let's just get into it right now because I can't wait to talk.
Why did you get to announce the special?
I know.
Guest?
You were just waiting.
I was shushed.
Let's just stop beating about around the bush. This is
Not fair.
the best part of the episode. Let's just start talking about it. I'm just going to start the whole thing off by saying I was really excited about watching this episode or how this episode was progressing because we just watched Star Trek Next Generation Conspiracy from season 1 because we've been reviewing Next Generation. And this episode is so much like Conspiracy.
Very much so.
Can I just tell you what my pet theory is? I right away. I'm just gonna go for the jugular right now. I think the pet theory is that the reason that the changelings are different and they now possess blood and all that is that they've amalgamated and merged with the parasites from Conspiracy.
What? No, that's crazy. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Why would that? Why? Why would that? Why did you jump to that?
It certainly makes a lot more sense than your theory from last week.
I don't know if it does. I think my theory from last week makes way more sense.
So why is it that changelings now can like replicate internal organs and have blood and all this stuff? And Crusher said
Borg nanoprobes. Let's just say that then.
he's either a changeling, sleeper agent that was sent. So so either Picard had a son and was replaced by this changeling, or the changeling all along. Maybe Picard is a changeling and he impregnated Crusher with a changeling baby, and that's how the changelings evolved into this new species.
Stop wasting time with crackpot theories.
That's why they want him, because they want to get the chosen one of their species, and he'll bring back balance to the Force.
You know, I don't want to discount that completely because I think maybe Crusher could be a change. Like Beverly could be a changeling. Like Beverly could be like a new version of the changeling. So maybe Jack is kind of like that. Because, she disappears for a long time. You don't really know what happens to her. At this point, it could be anything.
But I think the changelings are behind the changelings are the parasites, and that's why he keeps seeing all that gross vine stuff, because that doesn't make any sense in relation to the changelings and the red door and stuff like that.
I was ready for Mama to come out of the door.
Mama,
with a cup of tea. Jean-Luc, would you like some tea? I made it the way you love it.
Okay, so let's talk about the big guest appearance in this episode. Ensign Rolaren, who's now Commander Rolaren. What was your I want to start with Namir. What was your first impression when you saw her?
I thought it was a great throwback, and I knew that there was. I always felt like there was a lot of unfinished business between Ro and Picard, and so I'm glad they kind of wrapped everything up emotionally in this episode in a really interesting, kind of effective way. I thought it was super clever. It was nice to see her back, and Michelle Forbes is a great actor, so she really pulled it off.
Yeah, I mean, despite the spoiler, I was super surprised that they brought back Rolaire, and I'm surprised that they managed to keep such a lid on that with this world of spoilers and on set sightings of people, and usually people know about these things way before they happen. So it was a very pleasant surprise. I'm like, wow, I didn't expect them to bring back Rolaire, and I'm glad they did. She was a great character who needed some follow-up, especially since they didn't use her in Deep Space Nine like they had originally planned.
So if we're comparing this to the conspiracy episode, Rolaire is basically the Walker Keel character. Trust no one, Jean-Luc. And then he gets blown up by a ship, and only then do they realize that this is serious. And so, and that's when everything turns in this episode, is when Rolaire dies in this episode, and everything turns after that. And now Picard is right back where he was.
Is she dead though? I didn't see a body.
Oh, she's definitely dead.
I didn't see a body. It's like, if I don't see flames and debris blowing apart around people, I don't believe they're dead. They could have got beamed out the last second.
Maybe, but I think that would be, if they did that, then that's like a jumping the shark moment, because she had such a good end. Then
it would be a cheap thing, but I wouldn't put it past.
I was a little disappointed that she died, because I thought, there was a really good moment where she could have defused the bomb, or she could have pulled the airlock, the emergency airlock, and blown herself out, and then flown in space to the Titan, and they could have rescued her, and she'd been all frozen, and I thought that would have been really cool. But the death was really poignant, and I think it was like a way better version of the Horatio blowing up in Conspiracy.
Yeah, because it was a character that you actually knew, right? Nobody cares about Walker Keel, right? But Ro, you care about, right? And you yeah.
No idea.
But you see it happen, right? Like you see it happen in front of you.
There was no reason to bring her back other than somebody understands, let's like wrap this up. Like, that was a good character that people loved, and she didn't really have a resolution. She just went off to fight the Maquis, and they brought her back and resolved that storyline. But they did it in service of the story. Like, Namir, often you're complaining about just like things that are random throwaway, like there's no point of having them. But they did this whole wrap up, but they did it as a way to prove that she wasn't a changeling. So it kind of, that's good writing. It's like, I'm gonna get my emotional moment, but it's like it serves the plot as sometimes.
I also think that they're wrapping up Picard, right? They're wrapping up all those loose threads that Picard had in his life, right? Like Ro being one of them. I think he still needs to do some reconciliation with his Locutus of Borg kind of side. So I know there's been a lot of that, but I think it keeps popping up. So I think they're still going to do something around that. I'm pretty sure. We'll see. Maybe I don't know. I'm often wrong. But so there's like all of these little things. I think lore obviously needs to be wrapped up, and Moriarty needs to be wrapped up. So I really feel like they're crossing things off the list, right? Like Ro being one of them, and then these other characters being the other. So it's interesting, right? Like it's neat, because I wonder if there's things that we haven't thought of, right? If there's storylines that we've just sort of forgotten about, that they're gonna pull out of nowhere. So maybe your crazy theory about the insects from Conspiracy is true. It could be. You never know. That's a huge plot line that was never wrapped up. So maybe they'll bring it back. I hope they do.
I would not be surprised, again, with like Namir says, all the line crossing off, if this doesn't somehow tie back to Sela. because that was one thing that was never resolved.
Oh, right, and we know that Denise Crosby's coming back, right?
I'm pretty sure there is a rumor that Denise Crosby is part of this season. Who else would she be?
Not to get back on this point, but this is the kind of thing that would drive me crazy when they made the movies. Was they would introduce something like the Baku, and then it's like, well, you have Sela that you've never wrapped up. Why don't you bring her back and do a whole movie about that? Or why don't you do a whole movie about, do you know what I mean?
Who would have a legit grievance against Picard for ruining and foiling all their plans? Somehow she's going to work into this. I guarantee something is going to lead to Sela.
I like that. I like this theory a lot more than I like Namir's. That's for sure. You know what? We're not talking about Worf and Raffi. So it was, before we even get into that, it was amazing that they he finally got to reunite with Riker and Picard, and Picard got to say, "Mr. Worf." I think Worf, maybe Worf is the best part of this new show.
Yeah, I agree. But oddly, I don't think he would be as good without Raffi. Like, it's that relationship that's actually really good now. Like Worf is the thing that Raffi's character was missing. And now you're like, oh, Raffi kind of makes sense, right? Worf is, her mentor, and that's all she really, really needed. So it really fits. And you know me, like, I never really liked the Raffi character, but now she kind of makes sense.
I think you're right, Namir. This is it. They work really well together, and it's kind of too bad that, I mean, I'm just gonna keep saying this. Like, this is what the show should have been from the beginning. If we had 3 seasons of this.
No, just one season. The 1 season wrap up. What they're doing now is perfect. Anything beyond that, we would have just gotten sick of it.
Speak for yourself. But well, I mean,
maybe you would. Does it have the Star Trek name on it? I'm gonna watch it.
It's poop with the name Star Trek on it. I'll watch it.
Yeah, come hell or high water, I'll watch it.
Okay, so this episode ends with basically them on the run, which I think is a great way to end the show, and it's sort of like the first episode of the second act, essentially, because the last episode sort of wrapped up the first 4 episodes. And I like that Shaw's with them, and Shaw's going on the run with them.
He's a scene stealer. I love that guy. He's every scene he's in. It's like he says, "Do you want to get court-martialed, instated, reinstated, or uninstated or whatever?"
Right, and then he knights her. That's great.
and then when he's like humming along, it's like, I'm so excited you guys are gonna get court-martialed. He's like riding the turbo. Like, every scene he's in is just great. Like, oh, I really hope he doesn't die in this show.
And I also like when he's like, okay, so just because you guys saved the world a few times, I'm going to let you figure out your bullshit story. I'm going to go over the bridge. Okay, are we ready to do ratings now?
So yeah, it was really good. I still liked the emotional payoff last week better than this one, but this one was really strong. So I'm gonna give this one 8 out of 10. I'm still loving the ride we're on. Again, this one was a little more place setting, like episodes 1 and 2. So again, it's hard to judge this one without seeing the rest. Just kind of like I said about episode 1. So, but it's really strong. I had a great time. The one thing that probably is bugging me that I didn't mention is that they're kind of doing a mystery box now with Jack Crusher, and I kind of hope they just come out with whatever's going on and don't drag it out much further, because I hate mystery boxes like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. I liked it just as well. No, it's just as good as episode 3, not as good as episode 4. I think I gave episode 3 a 7, so this gets a 7. It's good. It feels like the beginning of a new set of episodes that are going to be really great. They're setting up some big moves that are going to happen. So it's really kind of getting me excited about what's next. I like the chase. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, so a solid 7.
I thought it is a great episode. I liked it more than last week. Not that it's a better episode than last week's, but just in terms of, it kind of reminded me of episode 3 of like the turns and the reveals and the moments. Just like in episode 3 where we had the moment where Riker takes over command of the ship, and this episode of Rolaren showing up and her revealing the conspiracy in Starfleet, and then them basically being on the run, like, and then emotionally wrapping up the story or the history between Picard and Rolaren, which to my mind has a little romantic inclination. But I'm just saying, this is it's I wouldn't be surprised if we saw little creatures in this episode that control people's minds from conspiracy. So 8 out of 10.
So I think they mentioned when they're talking about Daystrom. I mean, they're going to go to Daystrom. There'll probably be like some sort of heist. But when they said there was a sophisticated AI in their central computer or whatever, how much you want to bet Moriarty is the one that's guarding the computer core at Daystrom?
That would be so stupid.
I'm calling it now.